The day that should have been one of the happiest days of my life. Instead, it became the day my future mother-in-law tried to humiliate me in front of 42 women, and the day my fiancé finally showed everyone who he truly was. My name is Olivia Harper. I was 29 years old, 3 months away from marrying the man I loved, and completely unaware that my bridal shower was about to turn into a public attack. But before I tell you what happened, you need to understand my future mother-in-law. Because women like Diane don't wake up one morning and become cruel. They spend years perfecting it. If you've ever had someone smile to your face while trying to destroy your confidence, this story is for you. And before we begin, don't forget to subscribe because what happened after Diane opened her gift bag left 42 women speechless. Now let's go back. I met my fiancé Ethan 4 years earlier. He was kind, honest, hardworking, the kind of man who made people feel safe. The kind of man I thought only existed in movies, and for 3 wonderful years our relationship was almost perfect. Almost. The problem wasn't Ethan, the problem was Diane, his mother. From the first day we met, she hated me, not openly, not at first. Women like Diane are smarter than that. Instead, she used compliments that sounded like insults. "Oh, Olivia, you're so brave to wear that dress. You're prettier than I expected." Ethan usually dates women with more style. Little comments, little cuts, always designed to leave a mark. For years I ignored them, because Ethan loved me, and because I believed eventually she'd accept me. I was wrong. The closer we got to the wedding, the worse she became. Every decision became a battle. The venue, the flowers, the guest list, the menu, everything. She criticized every choice, and somehow made herself the victim every time. But Ethan always defended me, and that drove her crazy. Then came my bridal shower. My best friend Jessica organized everything. It was beautiful. Elegant decorations, fresh flowers, soft music. 42 women attended. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. Everyone was excited. For the first 2 hours, everything was perfect. People laughed, shared stories, played games, took pictures. I honestly believed the day would be wonderful. Then Diane arrived, 30 minutes late, as usual, and carrying a giant gift bag. A giant pink gift bag. The moment she walked into the room, I felt nervous. Something about her smile seemed wrong, very wrong, but I ignored it, because I didn't want drama. Not today, not at my bridal shower. The afternoon continued. Then it was finally time to open gifts. One by one, I thanked everyone. A beautiful photo album, kitchen appliances, handmade decorations, family heirlooms. Every gift was thoughtful, meaningful, special. Then Jessica handed me Diane's gift bag. The room immediately became quiet. Everyone watched. Because everyone knew Diane. Everyone knew there was always a chance she would create a scene. I smiled politely, reached inside, and pulled out the first item. The room went silent. It was a book. A very specific book. How to Be a Better Wife. Several women exchanged looks, awkward looks. Then I reached in again. Another book. Keeping Your Husband Happy. A few nervous laughs appeared. Then another. Why Men Leave Difficult Women. Now people were staring. Then I found a notebook. The cover read, Things Olivia Needs to Improve Before Marriage. The room exploded with uncomfortable laughter. Not because it was funny, because nobody knew how to react. I felt my face burning. I wanted the floor to open beneath me. But Diane wasn't finished, not even close. Then she stood up, smiling, looking directly at me and said, Don't worry, sweetheart. Every woman needs a little help. More awkward laughter. I wanted to disappear. 42 women watching. 42 women seeing my future mother-in-law publicly insult me. Then Diane delivered the final blow. She looked around the room and said, I figured Ethan deserves every advantage possible. This time some women laughed, not because they agreed, because they were shocked, because the situation was so uncomfortable, and that's exactly what Diane wanted. Humiliation, public humiliation. She looked satisfied, victorious, like she'd finally won. What she didn't know was that someone else had just walked through the door, someone who had heard every word, and what he was carrying in his hands was about to change everything. The room was still laughing. Not because Diane's joke was funny. Because people didn't know what else to do. The atmosphere had become painfully awkward. I could feel tears forming behind my eyes. I was trying so hard not to cry, not in front of 42 women, not on what was supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life. Then I heard a voice behind me. What's going on? The room instantly became quiet. Every head turned toward the entrance. And there stood Ethan, my fiancé, holding a bouquet of flowers, smiling, at least, until he noticed my face. The smile disappeared immediately because Ethan knew me. He knew something was wrong, very wrong. Then he noticed the books, the notebook, the gift bag, and finally his mother, standing there looking very pleased with herself. The room remained silent. Nobody moved, nobody spoke. Then Ethan slowly walked over. He placed the flowers on the table, picked up one of the books, and read the title, How to Be a Better Wife. Then another, Keeping Your Husband Happy. Then the notebook, Things Olivia Needs to Improve Before Marriage. His jaw tightened. Very slowly, very visibly. For years, Ethan had tolerated his mother's behavior, not because he agreed with it, because he hoped she would eventually change, but something about seeing me standing there humiliated changed everything. Then he looked directly at Diane. Did you do this? Diane laughed. Oh, relax. It's just a joke. Nobody laughed this time, not one person. Then Ethan asked again, did you do this? Diane rolled her eyes. Of course I did. I thought everyone would find it funny. The room became even quieter, because for the first time she wasn't hiding behind excuses. She was openly admitting it. Then Ethan surprised everyone, including me. He smiled. A calm smile, a very dangerous smile. Because whenever Ethan became that calm, someone was about to regret something. Then he reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out an envelope. A white envelope. Nobody knew what it was, not even me. Then Ethan said something that made my heart stop. Mom, since we're sharing gifts today, I brought one for you too. The room instantly became curious. Diane looked confused. A gift, Ethan nodded. A very special one. Several women leaned forward, watching closely, because they could sense something was happening, something important. Then Ethan handed Diane the envelope. She opened it confidently, still smiling, still believing she was in control. Then she looked inside, and her smile disappeared. Instantly, the color drained from her face. Completely, people noticed. Everyone noticed. Because Diane suddenly looked terrified, actually terrified. Then she whispered, Where did you get this? Ethan's voice remained calm. Answer the question first. Diane stared at him, speechless. Then Ethan looked around the room, at the 42 women, at my friends, at my family, at everyone, and said, For years my mother has told people she paid for our wedding. Several women nodded. Because she'd told all of them. Many times. Then Ethan continued. She told people she paid our venue deposit. She told people she paid for Olivia's dress. She told people she paid for our honeymoon. More nodding, because everyone had heard those stories. Then Ethan smiled, and pulled several documents from the envelope. Official documents, receipts, bank records, payment confirmations, every single one showing the truth. Every wedding expense, paid by us, not Diane, us. The room gasped, because suddenly, everyone understood. The woman who spent years pretending to be generous hadn't contributed $1, not one, and the envelope contained proof. Cold, undeniable proof. Then Ethan said the words Diane feared most. The only thing my mother contributed was criticism. The room exploded. Women started whispering, looking at Diane, looking at the documents. Looking back at Diane, for the first time in years, people were seeing the truth. The real truth, not the version Diane created. Then something even worse happened. One of Diane's closest friends stood up and quietly said, You told all of us you paid for everything. Diane didn't answer, because she couldn't. And that's when I realized this wasn't revenge, this was accountability. Years of lies collapsing in a single afternoon. But Ethan wasn't finished. Not even close, because hidden inside that envelope was one final document. A document that would completely destroy Diane's reputation. And when he revealed it, several women actually walked out on her. The room was completely silent. 42 women, 42 pairs of eyes, all focused on Diane. The same woman who had spent years presenting herself as the perfect mother. The perfect future mother-in-law. The perfect generous host. And now, the image she had spent decades building was cracking. Fast. Very fast. Diane sat frozen in her chair, still holding the envelope, still staring at the documents, still hoping this was somehow fixable. But Ethan wasn't finished, not even close. Because there was one final document, one final truth, and this one was far worse than the wedding lies. Much worse. Then Ethan pulled a second envelope from his jacket. The moment Diane saw it, her face turned completely white. I noticed it immediately, so did everyone else, because for the first time that afternoon, she looked scared. Actually scared. Then Ethan spoke. You want everyone to know who Olivia really is? His voice was calm. Fine. Let's talk about who you really are. The room became even quieter. Then Ethan removed several papers and placed them on the table, one by one. Diane stood up immediately. No. Her voice cracked. Ethan, don't. But Ethan kept going because for years he had protected her. For years, he had defended her. And for years, she had abused that loyalty. Not anymore. Then he looked around the room, at every woman present, and said, 3 years ago, my mother borrowed money from several family members. Gasps. Several women exchanged looks, then Ethan continued. She promised everyone she would repay them. More silence. She never did. One woman suddenly stood up. Aunt Susan, her face filled with shock. You borrowed money from me. Diane looked away. Then another woman spoke. You borrowed from me too. Then another, and another, and another. Suddenly the room exploded with voices, questions, confusion, anger, because people were realizing something horrifying. Many of them had been told completely different stories, and all of them had been lied to. For years. Then Ethan revealed the final truth. The truth nobody expected. The money wasn't used for emergencies. It wasn't used for family needs. It wasn't used for medical bills. It had been used to maintain Diane's image. Designer handbags, luxury vacations, expensive jewelry, the appearance of wealth, the appearance of success, the appearance of perfection, all built on lies. The room went silent again, because nobody knew what to say. Then one of Diane's closest friends slowly shook her head. I defended you. Her voice broke. I defended you for years. Diane started crying. Real tears. Not because she felt guilty, because she had been caught. Everyone could see the difference. Then she turned toward me, the woman she had tried to humiliate, the woman she wanted to embarrass, and whispered, I'm sorry. For a moment, nobody moved, nobody spoke. Because the apology felt strange, small, late. Very late. Then Ethan did something I will never forget. He walked over to me, took my hand, and said, Olivia deserves better. My heart nearly stopped, because after everything, after the embarrassment, after the humiliation, after the attacks, he chose me, publicly, without hesitation, without fear. Then he looked at Diane and said, If you want to be part of our future, you'll have to earn it. Not demand it, not manipulate it, earn it. For the first time in years, nobody defended Diane, nobody rescued her, nobody made excuses, because everyone understood. Actions have consequences, even family members face consequences, especially family members. That afternoon ended quietly. Many guests stayed behind, not because of the drama, because they wanted to support me. Several women hugged me, some apologized for laughing earlier, others admitted they had always suspected something was wrong, and for the first time, I felt truly accepted. Not by Diane, by everyone else. 6 months later, Ethan and I got married. The wedding was beautiful, peaceful, happy. And for once, nobody tried to make it about themselves. Diane attended, quietly, respectfully, because she finally understood something. Respect isn't demanded, it's earned. Trust isn't given, it's earned. And family isn't built through control, it's built through love. Today, 3 years later, life is wonderful. Ethan and I are happy, our marriage is strong. And Diane? She's still rebuilding relationships she damaged. Some people forgave her, others didn't. That's the reality of consequences. Not every bridge can be rebuilt, but every lesson can be learned. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more emotional family dramas, shocking betrayals, powerful revenge stories, and unforgettable endings. And remember, the people who try hardest to embarrass others are often hiding the biggest secrets themselves.